Savco.
Say that again.
S-A-V-K-O. Savco.
Zavco.
Yes.
If you want to come up to the podium, state your name, your address, and speak on your topic.
My name is Nick Savco. I actually live 1630 or 1682 West 3rd Avenue, technically Columbus. My issue, and I'm sure everyone at some point has seen me, I'm the guy with the German Shepherd and the electric dog leash. And as I've listened to everyone today, it's odd how things come full circle. Like my family actually built Grandview. I lived, yeah. Like my grandfather, grandmother lived here. There's monuments all over at Our Lady of Victory, Paul Falco Park. There's, I love this area. It's my heart. It's why I moved here. And yet, in my life, working for my family, being in some of the most dangerous areas, working on the railroad, working with ex-cons and people that have served hard time in the clink, I've never felt more in danger than I have the past couple weeks in this community. I'm getting harassed, screamed at, yelled at, belittled. I have people, beacons of light, who come up to me and they hug me and my dog. I don't use Facebook. I try to stay off of social media. That stuff terrifies me, and I believe it creates a toxic environment because it gets in your head. I believe there's good out there, but I believe for so many people, they become, let me type champions. It's hard because for the last 4 or 5, my dog is almost 5. No one ever said a thing to us. In fact, Mayor Kearns, I remember reaching out to you after you got elected, and I sent an email about, I had machines over here at Grandview Crossing, and I remember mentioned, hey, can I purchase a property, turn it into a dog park? Is this something we could maybe, think about and do? And you actually invited me to one of these. I don't know if you remember that email. I don't have it, but I mentioned how people claim they love dogs, but then they harass their dogs. They grab them by the collars, and then after Officer Bruni stopped me last Friday before Memorial Day, and he mentioned that somebody called and made a complaint because I do have an e-collar, but I also walk with a leash because that's my preparation. That's how I was raised and taught. Always be prepared in case the battery goes out. Then the next day on Saturday, I never walk down Fairview Avenue. I never do. But my dog was like, let's go, man, let's go. And we stumbled upon this woman, Teresa Rill, I believe her name is, 1308 Fairview, who works at the Ohio State Veterinary Clinic and veterinary school, and she fell in love with my dog, and she said, yeah, collar or leashes on collars, we are finding studies that say dogs and their necks and their spines, because people yank on them, which is why there's harnesses, but we at Ohio State love the e-collar because it makes the owner be conscious of their animal, and it builds a better bond. And I'm sitting here saying, this is my savior. My dog brought me to this woman. And I've tried to get a hold of her. She wasn't home over the weekend, and I left a note asking for, information. Officer Diaz stopped me the other day and said, that more people have been, another person called. And then, I stopped and talked to, I forget the female officer's name, who was in here earlier, and she told me about this meeting, and I'm like, all right, man, call to order. And in this world, we want people to be trailblazers. We want these little girls and little kids to be trailblazers. And the female officer that I spoke to, said that there was an email that came out that said, well, the definition is this. And I'm somebody who went to St. Charles, where we were taught, to be Christian, to be leaders, to be trailblazers. We don't copy other people's definitions, we write our own. We set standards, and that's something I take a lot of pride in. And in this community, the harassment I have received has brought me here because I've taken it. It's not easy, it's hard, because my family built this community. And I'm someone who, when I run, I see smashed beer cans, I pick them up, I throw them in the trash. I see bottles, pick it up, throw it in the trash. Because that's what leaders do, that's what trailblazers do. That's what community does. And then to receive the trash words, and to find out that people are posting pictures and harassing me and my dog online, I've looked into slander lawsuits. Not easy.
I'm sorry, Mr. Seffer, could you clarify, the harassment you're talking about is specific to the type of dog collar you were using,
The
correct?
what?
What you're talking about is response to the specific type of dog collar you were using, correct?
Yeah, and actually I brought, because this Teresa Will was saying that Ohio, this is the leash I carry. I always carry a leash because they're animals. You never know.
And also, I can provide some background because I traded, and you're welcome to continue, but I have, I'm Councilwoman Michelle Kozak, and I'm the safety chair, and I traded emails with Chief Starnes, the police chief, on this topic, because I have seen so many people posting out in different forums that concerns about off-leash dogs in the community. And as someone who owns 2 small dogs and who's had larger dogs run at us, who have been off-leash dogs run at us and cause us to be afraid, I wanted to look into it to provide some information, and I checked on the ordinance, and the ordinance does say that the dog must be under physical control, not verbal control. And so then the topic of the e-collar came up, and originally they said that those were okay, but I had somebody reach out to me this week with an email asking about the e-collar, if he wanted to have it. It wasn't you, someone other, a bit than me or maybe, but wanted to know because he wanted to use that on his dog. So I reached out to Chief Starnes again, and he said that he consulted with our city attorney about that. And the ordinance was written in 1987, so of course those weren't around then, but about the meaning of under the physical control. And that he was advised that would not include the e-collar. And I did wonder about them because I didn't know about them, but is it the same as with your electric fence? So
Yes.
dogs can get
It's
out of
actually-
that, but dogs can get out of that. So.
Exactly. That's why I always carried that, and that's why the Teresa Rill, I believe her name is, was saying it makes you, the owner, more conscious, which is why and this has a vibration, it has many levels of the electric, which I don't even need to use the electric part. Because my parents, they had their electric fence hardwired into their panel box, still twice a year, it went out, and it's like, wait, what? But, so it's like building that awareness. I was actually very anti the e-collar, and then I took my dog to a 2-week trainer, and they showed, and it was like, I thought I fell in love. And, it's not a guarantee you have to work with, and yet he stays on the sidewalk, does not wander, he's within 20 feet of me, so that's my other thing, it's in this world of definitions.
Mr. Seffer, I'm sorry, comments are 3 to 5 minutes, and we're almost 10 minutes now. So, if you could wrap up, and then this is something that I'm not sure we have all the information on, but we can.
And that's what I'm trying to gather, and the officer told me about this tonight, so I'm like, call the order, man. Because whatever the definition of a leash is, I could just go buy a hook with a 100-foot rope, and it's like, that fits the definition. But then he stays within 20 feet of me with his collar on, and so I'm sitting here in this world of confusion, and I love puzzles, so this is a mental puzzle. But it's the amount of people that have gotten out of their vehicles, hugged, supported, compared to, there's maybe, I don't know, maybe, I can only think of 5 or 6. For some reason, the past month has been brutal. And then the people who post pictures and say the nasty things online and create that toxic, that negativity. And it's like, darkness doesn't cast out darkness, light does. And so I'm trying to bring things to light. And I'm trying to be a trailblazer. I'm trying to come up with definitions so that it's like, we're the ones. I'm trying to work. And it was officer, the one who just retired, Conlon. He was the one who stopped me actually in 2020 and was like, no, I love this. I love you. I love your dog. I love this. All the officers that have stopped me love it. But yet they have to do their job. And I respect that because, and yet, like you just mentioned, everyone has these different definitions to point to. And I'm here to help us write our own. Because that's what trailblazers do. That's what we want children to do. That's what we want these little girls to do. That's what we want here. We want to be leaders. That's what I was raised to do at St. Charles. That's why I'm proud to be here in the area that my family built so that we could do this together. My dog gets harassed. And that's the hardest part. Because he's not my dog, he's not my pet, he's my best friend. He's been there through so much, and I just want to see him happy. I mean, he is, like, he doesn't know what these people are saying. Makes it kind of cute in a way when he just smiles, but...
Mr. Safko, I'm sorry to,
I'll
way over time.
So,
we appreciate the feedback. I think we need to look into this more with our legal, and try to take more input to kind of evaluate this. I would ask administration to look into this as well. I'm sorry to cut you off. If you have additional comments, feel free to email. Just to be fair to everyone, try to keep it at the same length.
I apologize, yes.
All right, thank you so much for coming tonight. We appreciate it.